I said, I want to touch the earth. I want to break it in my hands. I want to grow something wild and unruly. I want to sleep on the hard ground in the comfort of your arms, on a pillow of blue bonnets and a blanket made of stars. Oh, it sounds good to me. Yes, it sounds so good to me. Hello, everyone. KJ here. I'm sitting at my home computer right now. We are going to go over to the antique pump organ here shortly. But, I've had a great week fishing. Some of y'all saw that on the community wall. And I appreciate all those that are on here right now that are going to mod. Thank you, Leanne Forsberg, Dora Pinion. I understand. I get it. Don't worry about it. We got Mark McGarry. We got Cindy Arnold. And Just Me's going to be joining shortly. Y'all, it sounds good to me. Let's move forward, huh? That's the title of this live stream. You know what, y'all? Before we go into this new case, I think it's only fitting after KJ did all these satirical nonsenses of Lauren from Hide the Crime, get it, right? That we really kind of wrap that up, because it's not like a person can just oh well, let's just move forward and not even wrap it up. So I think the best way to do that is to listen to one of y'all on the comments. Sam Willow says, I'm dumping this on you because I'm not sure where else I can write this and know that it's going to be read. Just Benny, so here it goes. Lauren and John's actions were despicable together, but more so Lauren. They were judgmental, ruthless. They conspired to hurt others' channels out of jealousy. They were mean and harmed more people than we know of. They're bullies. I enjoy your satire, and I don't think it harms anyone. You're not unkind. You're funny and honest, and sometimes offer a fresh take on a subject which has become stagnant. But on other channels, a lot of them are going full-on attack of John and Lauren, while failing to see what their own actions and reactions do to others. The best thing that can come of this mess is introspection, enlightenment. I couldn't agree more, y'all. I don't see a lot of that going on. At what point do these creators who are now on a marathon live bashing of HTC, when do they become bullies? I'm not saying Lauren doesn't deserve what she's getting, because she does. I've sat through many of those bashings, but how do these bashings help the victims learn to cope with people like them? How do we learn to recognize and remove ourselves from destructive relationships like this? I think those questions are worth a few marathon live streams. And thanks for reading this, says Sam Willa. And there's not going to be any marathon live streams, but this is very important to cover. She asked two basic questions, and all we've got, y'all, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. But when she talks about how do these bashings help the victims learn to cope with people like them, well, I guess it depends, y'all, on a person's motivation for listening to these other creators and stuff. And I am the first to say that no matter what any content creator on YouTube or any other social media platform does, that's their own deal. And they have a right to do it. Do I agree with everything that other people do? No, but they don't agree with my ass either, right? So, how do we learn to recognize and remove ourselves from destructive relationships like this? It's a gut feeling, y'all. It's a gut feeling. If something does not feel right with you, you go back to the introspection and enlightenment. You've got all the tools within you. You've got all the answers. Whether you know it or not, you decide what you want to listen to, what you want to be a part of. Now, with that being said, I released some satirical nonsense on this whole ordeal, but my hope was that something bigger would come out of that in terms of people really thinking about things, because sometimes comedy does bring out a form of understanding. And here on this channel, this open channel, this channel that does not monetize whatsoever, never will, we want justice through understanding. And if a crime genre community is up in arms, it really comes down to their motivation for why they continue to beat a dead horse, and that's just an opinion. I believe some of these creators are beating a dead horse, but that's their right to do, and it doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that they're going down the road they're going, and they have a right to go down it. Any and all of us, y'all, think about your life. Think about what we've been through in our lives. The roads we've traveled, the freaking damn dead-end roads, the freaking, all the times on this channel where we started to go down a road and all of a sudden I'm like, where the hell are we? You know? The bottom line is that Leanne Forsberg says the need, the humor to better the motivation. And some people can't be funny, you know? And there are times when my shit is so damn stale as week-old bread that I don't know how anybody gets a laugh out of it other than to say when they do laugh at my shit, they say, that poor woman. She's trying to be funny, but she's so damn stupid, she's funny, you know? So it is what it is. Mark McGarry says, KJ's take on opinions. Yeah, well, you know, everyone has an opinion, Mark. And what kind of world would we live in if there weren't opinions and it all had to be, everything that come out of your damn mouth was a fact? Would the world be a better place? Because it's in the realm of opinions that people decide things and people create things. And those creations can be good or they can be bad. You know, it really comes down to motivation. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, people are misjudged on their motives. And unless that person can, you know, communicate properly in their own heart and their mind about what their motivations are, even then, if someone comes out and says, this is my motivation, do you believe them? Do you want to believe them? What is the bigger picture? What is it that you are to learn from all this? So, you know, when I got involved in all of this in terms of the blowback of HTC, first and foremost, I'm not going to do anything that's not going to teach me something, and hopefully others will learn. And if they learn something I don't know, they can teach me. You know, I have been educated by so many of y'all. There's so many things that I didn't know that y'all shared with me, and I thank God for that. I really do. Because I'm just telling y'all right now that, you know, I can only do what I can do. And I can only be who I am, and that goes for you as well. You being the only you that you're ever going to be. And that is, I mean, that's not a catchphrase. Think about it, y'all. There's never going to be another you, past, present, or future. You are absolutely unique. That is a fact. that's not me trying to sugarcoat and compliment and all this. I'll go overboard on all that shit. Hello, Vixtex. How are you doing? So, yes, I see where Sam Willow is coming from on that, but my loyalty will always be to Crescia K. Easton of Difficult Research and her family. Pure and simple. And sometimes a person has to go overboard in order to get the point across because, y'all, I studied media influence in college, and I don't know shit, but I know a little bit. And sometimes the stimuli online is so damn strong that you have to go overboard to say what? What was I trying to say in all this? That number one, that the victims' family members did not deserve what happened. That these people are, they have a story to tell that is so important to so many people. And, I just feel like that ultimately when it comes down to it, that we've all got to be reticent. We've all got to be reticent of what we take in online, on any form of media. We absolutely take in stuff when we talk to people face to face. There is not much of a difference this day and time. Hello, Fancy Nancy Bergbauer. So yes, and then to back that up, I looked back here and Love Always Redacted, which is a cool YouTube name, said, you are the absolute queen of satire, which, y'all, I didn't mean to even say that, but it just breaks into me big time when somebody says something nice to me. Satire is important because it serves as a vital tool for social critique, challenging authority, fostering critical thinking, and promoting public debate and potential change, y'all. Using humor, irony, and exaggeration to expose and ridicule the flaws, the hypocrisies, and absurdities of individuals, institutions, or society itself is engaging and it's a memorable way. So Love Always Redacted, that really opens up my mind to things that I really wasn't thinking of, but it really makes all the sense in the world. So anyway, we're here to talk about a new case. And we're going to absolutely continue to support, whether it's monetarily or through words or however a person can be supported, Crescia K. Easton of Difficult Research. But we are on a mission here on this channel to get justice through understanding, whatever that means to you. And if you don't want to sign up to justice through understanding, that's fine too. Maybe you're just along for the ride, and that's okay. Because you know what? Your presence on here is so important to the overall environmental view that we're going to establish in the case of Angelia Solomon out of Tennessee, y'all. And my hope is that this will move forward through adjudication and trial. We don't know yet. Tomorrow, she's having another hearing. We don't know if a plea agreement will happen. We don't know if this will be full-blown or what. If you want to get caught up on this case, I highly recommend you go to the community wall on this channel and look and scroll down a little bit, and you're going to see the preliminary hearing along with an interview with Aaron Solomon, who is the victim of all this. What am I speaking of? I'm speaking of Angelia Solomon wanted to pay a hitman to murder her ex-husband. okay? This has a lot of areas of exploration. This has parental alienation that we're going to study. This has to do with heartache and tragedy of losing a child. This has to do with the ultimate of, just like Donna Adelson, y'all. She couldn't help herself. You get in that desperate frame of mind and you go there. And in this case, Angelia Solomon went there with a Tennessee Bureau of Investigation undercover agent trying to hire his ass to take out Aaron Solomon, who was a former news anchor here in Tennessee. He was very popular. So I'm moving over here to the antique pump organ. I'm absolutely going to get with the basics of it all. Y'all know this channel is no rhyme, no reason, other than what, y'all? Justice through understanding. Cindy Arnold says, hey y'all, I'm a little late, but I'm here. Bilal, my audio on here, see, I don't have no big graphics or a big, I don't know, microphone or anything like that. There's nothing I can do about it. And the Rays know that this is just an open channel on my cell phone. That's all it is. So let's get started on it. Hello, Alpha BMX team. Yes, I'm excited too. You know what, y'all? Being in the crime genre community, we can learn so much about so many areas of life, and we have already, have we not? There are things, let's just for sake of argument, let's look at it. Parental alienation. Does Tylee Ryan being alienated from Charles Vallow? You see where I'm going with this? We're going to absolutely do our best. Hopefully it will go to trial. If not, we will go with other cases. But it's one case at a time. Just one case at a time. It's never a bunch of cases. It's never just touching on cases. It's using other cases perhaps to, to apply. Fancy Nancy. There's people coming into the comments that don't want to be here for the right reasons. Jay says, Fancy Nancy, always great to see you modding. Yes, because Fancy Nancy's on top of it. Okay, y'all, we're going to get through this. And I promise you, the content that I have been studying for a while now, trying to figure out what we're going to do, I've got absolutely laser focused on the topics that we're going to go over. And the cool thing about it is you are going to educate me. You're the one. You're not just going to come to this channel and listen to what I got to say. You're going to be an active participant. That's how it's always been. Since May of 2020, y'all, this channel's been open to get justice through understanding, and we're going to do it to it. With your help, the Rays and others, specifically the Rays, research, analysis, and you. So here we go. Fancy Nancy says, Jet Set Jay, I'm honored, but I want to listen. So instead of saying hello, I look for trolls. Oh, Fancy Nancy. Y'all, this just goes to tell you right now that when it comes to modding, a lot of times these people don't get a chance to really think about what's going on in here and everything, and they have to go back on the rewatch, or they just, and I just thank you, Fancy Nancy, for your sacrifice. Cindy Arnold says, I'm a fast learner. Well, good for you. And the Alpha BMX team says, thank you so much, Fancy Nancy. Y'all, let me just say this. It's been really hard transitioning from the Daybell case. It's been so hard, but y'all have helped me through it. And I want you to understand that I see you. I know who you are. I appreciate you. This is just as important and beneficial to me in learning than it is for anyone to come on this channel. Y'all have educated me and helped me so much, and I thank you for that. Fancy Nancy says, so hello and welcome to all. So there you go. So here we go, y'all. We're going to get through some of the preliminary stuff, and then we'll move on from there. If you've got any questions about this case that I could answer, again, this has just started happening April of 2025, okay? So we've got Angelia Solomon. It's Angelia Lee Solomon. And she is white. She's 5'5". She weighs 135 pounds. She has brown hair and blue eyes. This is coming from the General Sessions Court of Williamson County, Tennessee. And make no mistake, y'all, if this goes to trial, OKJ for the first time is going to go and sit in on this trial for the Rays. Now, I went and I saw one hearing over there in Sumner County, but we won't go there. That was with Bullhorn Betty, who, by the way, Bullhorn Betty ended up winning her appeal. So her followers, which she's got a lot of subscriptions, she was able to get enough money to get her ass out of trouble to hire an appeals attorney. The bottom line is it goes back to motivation, right? Says, dang, Mark, you saw that fish she caught? Holy catfish Batman. Yes. You know what, Rays? Anytime any of the Rays, and I'm talking to the Rays, you want to, you go on the About page and you see down there the address, and you want to come visit OKJ and Mr. Wayne, you send a letter and you say, yes, I want to come in at these dates. Does this work? And we'll treat you good. You can come in our home and you can stay with us. Okay, how's that sound, huh? You think hey, let me tell you what, I'm not no damn dumbass. People are like, don't do that, KJ. You might get a serial killer in your house. Well, I guarantee you this, y'all. I got a gun in every damn room in this house, hidden, concealed. I ain't a damn bit worried about it. And besides that, y'all, I trust the Rays. I have loyalty to the Rays. And you know what? The good Lord is faithful and just. Yes, Fancy Nancy, it's on the About. It's at the bottom of the page of the About there. And I said, no gifts, just a letter. Karina Torres says, Jesus loves you, sister. Yes, I know this. Okay, so back to this General Sessions Court of Williamson County, Tennessee. This is the arrest. The warrant served by arresting defendant Angelia Solomon was on April the 13th of 2025. Okay? So, you see how fresh this is. Now we will go to the affidavit of complaint. And guess what? It's short and sweet, y'all. Here it is, y'all. The affidavit. Y'all know what an affidavit is. This is from the law enforcement agency giving their reasons and their preliminary evidentiary type situation why they were able to arrest this woman, okay? On April 11th of 2025 at approximately 2:15 p.m., Angelia Solomon met with an undercover law enforcement officer acting as a hitman in the parking lot area of 1800 Galleria Boulevard, Franklin, Williamson County, Tennessee. And by the way, I've been to the Cool Springs Galleria. I've been to that exact damn parking lot. I've went shopping there in the past. It's been a while, but I have. It's a nice mall, y'all. For the express purpose of hiring him to murder her ex-husband. Aaron Solomon. Angelia Solomon promised future payment to the undercover officer, as well as provided the registration to her vehicle as a form of initial collateral payment for Aaron Solomon to, quote, disappear and to be put underground. Angelia Solomon stated that this would provide her daughter access to a trust fund. Angelia Solomon provided the UC with information on they could find out Aaron Solomon, places he may work, and the area where he lives. This constitutes the offense of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And there you go, y'all, right there. And some would say, well, my goodness, she didn't give them money. She gave them a registration. Well, you got to have a registration to do what? To re-up your vehicle and everything. And she gave details of, where he worked and where he lived and all this other stuff. And then, of course, she brings out that this would open up access to her daughter getting a trust fund. She does talk and go to the community wall. You can hear the recording of Angelia Solomon. She's talking to the undercover. She goes through all this stuff about how her daughter had SA from Aaron Solomon. She talks about how she thinks that her son Grant was murdered by him and all of this. They did thorough investigation on both, and it came up zilch, y'all. And in fact, in terms of Grant, her thinking that her son was murdered by Aaron, they had witnesses there, and we'll go over all that down the road. The bottom line is what we need to focus on right now is tomorrow's hearing and what that entails. If she pleads out, then we'll move forward in a different direction. But right now, we're looking for her tomorrow. I will get with y'all tomorrow evening. Y'all, 2 days in a row. We're going to do it to it. We are going to get justice through understanding. Know what I'm doing. I'm not religious, says Haley Cates. Well, there are several people on this channel that are atheists, agnostic. Just because KJ is Christian and I believe Jesus is the Christ, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. By the way, the Vatican came out today to say that Jesus saved the world and not the Virgin Mary, okay? But anyway, there are all walks of life on here. And everyone on this channel respects that. We understand that. You are not going to find groupthink on this channel. In fact, there are a lot of people on this channel that disagree or have to correct me or tell me I'm wrong or whatever. This is an open channel, a non-monetized channel to get justice through understanding. You got it? So you're welcome here. You're welcome here. It's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to want to be on here. Some people have left shitty-ass comments. You're just old country bumpkin. You're an old lady. All kind of crazy-ass shit. But on this channel, you know what? We respect and honor you for being here. Hello, Norma Guerrera. Leanne Forsberg says, tomorrow evening, everyone. That's right, y'all. Y'all, we have developed the Justice Through Understanding template after all this 5+ years. And we know how this baby rolls. And we have learned, I know I have, and I know you have as well. Learn something on this channel. What the hell other reason does anybody want to go into the crime genre community? You know, some people are like, oh, well, it's for entertainment, KJ. What about learning? What about finding that place within you that needed an answer to something that had not anything to do with the subject matter that just clicks into place? It's happened over and over again on this channel. We're an open channel. It's just for justice only, says Leanne Forsberg. Okay, so there it is. That's it. That's it on the probable cause affidavit. Y'all remember Donna Adelson's? Boy, it was lengthy. Do you remember Chad and Lori Daybell's? Lengthy as hell. That's a very short, it is what it is. Now, she was put into jail for a while. It was maybe for a few months before she came up again for a bond hearing, okay? And you can find that online as well. And what happened was the judge said, okay, all right, we're going to lower the bond a little bit, and we're going to allow you to make bail, but you've got all of these requirements. You can't get online. You can't use your cell phone. The only thing you can do is leave your house to go to medical or attorneys. That's all she's on house arrest, okay? So the order granting bail for this case, y'all, it says here that Angelia Solomon is a threat to the alleged victim, Aaron L. Solomon. It also says that the defendant is enjoined from threatening to commit or committing specific offenses set forth in the warrant and against the alleged victim or other family or household members. The defendant is prohibited from harassing, annoying, telephoning, contacting, or otherwise communicating with the alleged victim either directly or indirectly. Contact includes, but is not limited to, telephoning, email, text messaging, communicating through the use of social media platforms, talking to or using third parties to initiate contact. Angelia Solomon is directed to vacate or stay away from the home of the alleged victim and to stay away from any other location where the alleged victim is likely to be. The defendant is prohibited from using or possessing a firearm or other weapon specified by the court. The defendant is prohibited from possessing or consuming alcohol or controlled substances. The defendant is ordered to not abuse, threaten to abuse, hurt or try to hurt or frighten the alleged victim and or the alleged victim's minor children under 18. The defendant may return with police escort one time for medical and personal necessities. That the defendant's participation in a global monitoring system will deter the defendant from seeking to kill, physically injure, stalk, or otherwise threaten the alleged victim before trial. In other words, she has to wear a GPS monitor. The defendant shall carry or wear a global positioning monitoring system. The defendant shall pay the costs associated with operating that device and any electronic receptor device provided to the victim. The entity that operates the global positioning monitoring system shall notify the magistrate and the appropriate law enforcement agency if a defendant violates a condition of the bond imposed under this section, and the defendant is directed to vacate or stay away from the home of the alleged victim and to stay away from any other location where the victim is likely to be, including these specific locations that the victim has requested the defendant to stay away from, which there isn't. It was a $500,000 bail set, and she was able to post it, and that's that, right? Hello, Bonnie Baker. Hello, Tina. How are you? I was making some soup, and now I'm late, says Tina Reddington. What kind of soup was it? I bet it's good. Angie Solomon, 55, in a court-setting photo, has an unkempt, semi-life tumbled appearance. Notes, years of abuse allegations. Well, there you go. I can always count on Mr. M, Mark McGarry, to fill us in on the facts. Hojat Bayat says, God bless you and all the people with deep faith around the globe. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Cindy Arnold says, I have to be in and out. I'm a caretaker taking care of a sassy 95-year-old lady. Well, I'll tell you what, Cindy, that takes a real live woman. You know how to show your love. Yeah, yeah. Leah Forsberg says, beef or chicken, Tina? Big Sex says, soup. Oh, I love it. It's a soup day, says Tina. Veggie and beef soup. Oh, yum, 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 y'all. With fall in full force. These soups, chili, and all these chicken and dumplings and all that good stuff, y'all. Oh, Tina, you're getting me hungry over here. It's the Canyon Lady. How's my race? Says Canyon Jam. We're so glad you're here, Canyon Jam. Y'all, Canyon Jam sent me the little shoes for Lori. Oh, I gotta show them to y'all. I gotta show them. Oh, Lord. Oh. I gotta show you. Y'all are gonna love it. Y'all remember the Lori doll? Well, Canyon Jam, I was kidding around with her online, and I said, you forgot her government issue flip-flops, and look what she did, y'all. Look, they come off and everything. She made those, y'all. The Lori doll, look. She made the little shoes. Oh, Lord. I will cherish this forever, y'all. I will absolutely cherish it. Oh, I'm putting her little shoe back on her. All right, y'all. So what of the victim? Okay. Great doll, says Tina. But Tina, it's Lori Hooker Daybell. she's got her rack belt on. Look, y'all. Oh, here's what the shoes came in, y'all. Look, she sent them in the mail, and it was a little zipper container. She had the shoes in it. I mean, y'all. Look, y'all. Look, Lori. I had to, Canyon Jam. I had to. Love the shoes, says Liam Forsberg. Yeah, KJ, but that doll ain't talking. I am now at Pocatello Women's Prison, and I want to learn all about the hot tuna. I live for now. Hello. Oh, Big Sex says too much, y'all. Oh, Lord. You know what's so cool, y'all? I said, I really did, y'all. I prayed 20 or 30 people, and look what we got here, almost 30 people. So cool. It's the ones that really, really came here, who really helped me a lot. But anyway, the victim, y'all, the victim, Aaron Solomon. Y'all, I'm never going to be able to express to y'all how it's different covering a different case, but I know in my heart of hearts, I believe in justice through understanding, and I believe this, for what it means to me. And it might not mean the same to y'all, and that's fine, or it might not mean nothing at all, and that's fine too. But I just believe it, and I know things can be learned that I can learn through my research and analysis, that I can share, that will teach me, and y'all can teach me, and all that. Oh, Pecco, the reason I'm so close in the camera is because people usually want to see your eyes because they can tell. The eyes are the mirror to the soul. And you can tell whether someone's being straight with you or whether they're, full of shit or whatever. And that's that's why I'm so close. So I'm not going to apologize for it, but you can always go where someone's way back here all you want. But here on this channel, KJ's got to be able to let the rays and others see in my eyes. I want them to know who I am, and I want them to know that I'm here for the right reasons. Katie Jan says, thank you, KJ, and everybody else for totally getting my humor through fiber art. I'm going to tell you what, Katie Jan, you are absolutely gifted in making dolls, for sure. I bet you could make all kinds of things. Pecco, I'm sorry. This is just an open channel on a cell phone, and I apologize that I can't give it more than that. I give of myself. This channel doesn't monetize it, will never monetize it. The Rays understand that, and they give me a pass on it, okay? Yeah, the voice quality is bad, and I apologize for that. I really do. Nancy says I kept getting thrown off. Thrown off of what? What are you getting thrown off of? Hi, Amelia. Thank you, Jet Set Jay. You have to, hey, how about this, y'all? Okay, how about this? I'll just say it. There are channels that got their shit down, okay? They've got the microphone, they got the graphics, they got all this shit that is so, in line with media and all this and that. Well, KJ's just do it in my own way. How about that? Well, thank you, Pecco. I appreciate that. Y'all, it takes effort. It takes effort for you to be here and for me to be here. I'm not having to do anything more than any of y'all are doing. Y'all are just as important, if not more important. You know what I'm saying? Mark McGarry says, as to the case, it might serve the defendant well to accept guilty and serve a short term, get clear and find a better life, but there would be questions about abuse. Well, this goes back again, Mr. M, to, she's accused her ex of SA with her daughter, and her daughter came out online. You can find those online, where her daughter does make these accusations. The bottom line is does anyone really believe that Joe Ryan did that to Kobe at all? I mean, I'm sorry, y'all, but I think false memories can be implanted in a child. And I just don't see I just don't see that. And I'm all for, if that's his truth, then I can respect that. I'm not going to say Kobe's wrong. What I am saying is there is a such thing, and we've seen it with parent alienation, and we're going to cover that. Mark McGarry says, with no loss of life, there might be room for a plea. She needs good legal defense. Well, Mark, she was able to post bond of $500,000, I guess a percentage of $500,000. So she's got some kind of legal team. It's not, I don't think it's state. I don't think she's indigent. So, if you listen to the recording, she was very articulate. It wasn't like she was totally out there. I think that she knew what she was doing. She was trying to get a hold of that money. And she says it was for her daughter, but her daughter was still a minor, so who would control that money? VixTech says it, parent alienation. So, and that's another good point, Mark. The cases that we've covered the Daybell and the Donna Adelson case, and then like cases like Melody Ferris. We've touched on the Wagners over there, with the Roden murders, and other just little examples. But this is a case where no one actually was murdered. And that's what I want to focus in on, is that people get in these desperate situations. It's not an excuse for them. They know it's wrong to try to hire someone to murder somebody. Look what happened to Donna Adelson, and they succeeded. I guess the reason I wanted to cover it was for two reasons. Number one, it's here in Tennessee, and I thought if it goes to trial, I could go there and sit in on it and get with the Rays, and we could see a different view, a different way of looking at things to get a little justice to understanding. Not how these other channels cover these trials where they go to the trial. This would be different. This would be something different, and y'all know I'm different. It wouldn't be anything like most of these channels. I want to home in on what matters. And that is that in this day and time, y'all, the despair and the desperateness of these people. I've talked about how there's mental illness, there's narcissism, there's pure, unadulterated evil. Let's look at it. It doesn't mean that it's less of a case because nobody was murdered. It just means that we're going to cover something a little bit differently. Pecco says, what is the law about killing someone in the USA? Well, Pecco, there's state and federal laws. And it depends on whether it's going to stay a state case or whether the federal government's going to take it. And the bottom line is that this fella who murdered this insurance guy, I forgot his name, Lugio or something like that, that's a federal case. And then you've got state cases. Each state does it differently. But for the most part, first-degree murder is life in prison, and life in prison could mean 25 years. It could mean life without parole, or it could be a capital case, which would mean life without parole or the death penalty. So there you go on that. I hope that helps. Jam. All right, so I'm going to finish up on this victim, which I tried to get to a little bit ago, but I got sidetracked. This is from the Tennessean, which is a newspaper publication here in Tennessee. My hope is that you will get up to speed on this case. But it's from a Katie Nixon who says, Aaron Solomon says he lives every day with his head on a swivel months after his ex-wife Angelia Solomon was arrested and indicted in connection with an alleged murder for hire plot against him. The news left the three-time Emmy Award-winning journalist and former WSMV-TV sports anchor in shock. Quote, for the mother of your children and the person you married to speak so easily about wanting you dead, that's hard to hear. It's very hard to hear. The podcast, which was called the Good Grief, Good God Show podcast, and I posted it on the community wall, just weeks after the ex-wife's arrest on April 11th, reflected on the moment he learned about his alleged dalliance with Franklin's criminal underbelly. Angelia Solomon, 55, is charged with felony first-degree murder solicitation. The charge stems from a 45-minute recorded conversation, and you can find that online, and we will pick that one apart. She had with an undercover Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agent from the front seat of a vehicle parked at Macy's at Cool Springs Galleria on April 11th. The Tennessean later obtained the recording through a records request, and according to the recording played in court, Angelia Solomon was desperate that April afternoon, offering her car as collateral to hire the agent to help put Aaron Solomon in the ground. Quote, I've been humbled by how much I'm worth, unquote, says Aaron Solomon. I'm worth $5,000. everybody's saying you're like a Dateline episode, but it's your life, and it just keeps going, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. You don't get much bigger than that except for succeeding in what was attempted to be done. Aaron Solomon was out of town when he received the phone call about his ex-wife's attempt on his life. It was about 5:30 p.m. on the night before his friend's wedding. For some reason, I thought I needed to answer it, and it was the TBI calling, he said. They said, well, I've got a man at your door right now. I figured it had to do with something with my ex-wife. They said, well, we didn't want to tell you this over the phone, but since you're out of town, we'll go ahead and tell you that your ex-wife has been arrested. She tried to hire someone to kill you. And my heart sank, said Aaron Solomon. His father had died of cancer on April 5th, less than a week before the call. It was sudden, and then literally 6 days later, my ex-wife gets arrested for trying to hire a hitman to kill me. I didn't know it was going down until it happened. The recording played in court continues to haunt the former sports anchor turned financial advisor. She described where I lived, how to get in there, both of my vehicles, one of my license plates that was custom. I had to get rid of that after that was all over the internet, he said. She described in detail where I worked and where I worked out, and there could be people at the gym where I work out who let her know when I'm there or have people follow me home, which was brought out in the preliminary hearing. There were people at the gym he worked out at that would call her to let her know when he was there. That's some creepy ass shit, y'all. Angelia Solomon remained jailed in Williamson County until she made bail, and she's under house arrest. She wears a GPS monitor. Her next court appearance is scheduled for November 7th. So there you go, y'all. There you go. Oh, it does, doesn't it, Alpha Fem? Reminds me of the Dippolito case. I remember that, y'all. I remember that one. That girl was a good actress, was she not? Anyway, this is the beginning. Y'all know there's no rhyme or reason on how we do this. And we're going to continue to move forward. I'm going to get with y'all tomorrow evening. We're going to continue to move forward. We're going to touch on topics that might be a little touchy. Nobody was murdered. Somebody almost got murdered, or at least there was an attempt to do that. But evil still exists even when it does not succeed. So, with that being said, y'all get ready. We're going to absolutely move forward to get justice through understanding. And I love you all. Thank you all for being here. Let's get together again soon. Tomorrow evening, y'all. If you want to be here to go through this with us, if this goes to trial, y'all, we can go through the whole adjudication together. So with that said, I love you all. Thank you, Fancy Nancy and other mods on here. Thank y'all so much for being here on short notice. I would stay on longer, but I'm tired as hell. I've been on the lake all week. Got a lot of fish in the freezer, and I'm thinking of all you. So you just get ready, and I love you, and keep on looking. Right? Right?